Why do innocent beings, children, animals, have physical pain? Well, the short answer is I don't know, and I'm okay with that. But I do have a lot more peace around that experience, watching children, innocence, in pain. And I'll just share how it's worked out for me. So, the first thing I noticed is what happens in me when I'm in extreme physical pain. And I was in the hospital after a procedure, and it left me in a lot of pain. I did have some pain medication, and it would work for a short period of time and stop working long before I was able to get any more. The pain was so intense, it literally felt like somebody was trying to rip my body in half across between my ribs. It just felt like somebody was trying to lift my ribs on the top and push them down the bottom and tear me in two. And what happened was I could do nothing. For the most part, I just felt the pain. I couldn't really even muster the energy to think, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening to me. It was just so all-consuming pain. I felt the pain in this moment. I felt the pain in the next moment. I felt the pain in the next moment. But what was interesting is the suffering really diminished. It was just so much pain that there wasn't, any agonizing about it. There wasn't any awfulizing about what this meant about me, about the rest of my life, about the people who were caring for me. There's just none of that. It was just pure pain. And interestingly, innocents are more in that position, right? They usually don't have the extra story going on. Why is this happening to me? Why can't someone help me? What are you doing to me? That can be there, but in extreme pain, that does start to go away. And it's just this present moment intensity of pain. But it's not as bad as I imagine it. When I think about it, I awfulize it into an additional dimension of experience. It sounds like absolute horror. But in the experience of it, it's extreme. But it's not horror. It just happens. And the bearing of it happens. And that's it. There isn't any extra agonizing about it. So when we're imagining and projecting our experience or our interpretation onto the innocence, I can tell, onto the child or the animals, we're likely adding a lot more to it than they're experiencing. So I've learned to let go of my images about what it is, my interpretations and assumptions, and just know they're having their experience. And whatever it is to bear it seems to keep showing up. I've also noticed that regardless of what the situation is, somehow the inner strength or something shows up to go through the experience. Somehow there is this thing that just is there. An inner ability just shows up. And I've watched people in the hospital, people who were had very difficult states, and somehow the inner strength to take the next moment and the next moment shows up. In fact, sometimes it's an amazing miracle. In my own life, things that were more psychological pain, I've been amazed. I found a way through. Or a way through was granted. In fact, I wouldn't want to take that experience from anybody. If that's where they are, I want them to have that same experience of that inner strength that shows up. You know, not only does our awfulizing not represent what actually happens, but when we start projecting it onto them, it can make it worse. We know that, right? When a child falls and scrapes their knee, we look, we take care of it. They may be crying, but we don't go into, oh, that shouldn't have happened. What were you doing? Oh, you can't play on the driveway anymore. You can only play in the grass. Driveways are dangerous. You know, we don't do that. We know children fall. Their knees get scraped. We don't add this extra element of what was wrong, what needs to be avoided. We should protect ourselves. We don't do that, right? We know this is how life goes. And it actually helps the child comfort themselves. They see that blood is okay. We're okay with it. We wipe it off. We put on a Band-Aid. You know, it isn't a horror. And they learn from us that this is how life goes and that things actually work out. You know, the more we have the confidence, this is how life goes, things work out, the more people have that ability to relax into their experience and just go through it without adding the resistance to it. So when I know that whatever their experience is, the strength is there for them, then I'm not afraid of watching it. I'm not withdrawing in the pain of what I've imagined. I'm not holding back. You know, I'm not adding my own misery. Instead, I know the peace that holds all experiences. And I can feel compassion, I can move to help, or I can just be the holding presence. And it's a much more available space. So what life is an unknown mystery, right? But that unknown mystery is us. It's what flows through us. So we can let ourselves respond naturally when a child falls. We pick them up. That's life flowing through us. We know that's what we do. And we don't have to add the extra stuff in our head about awfulizing. We can notice strength shows up to bear whatever is next. And strength will show up in the next moment too. We are a mystery. We don't know how it's going to go in the next moment as we watch their pain. And we don't know how it is for them in their pain. But every time I've come through, it's okay. And agonizing and interpreting and awfulizing does not help. Knowing that I'm the mystery, letting life be the mystery without me trying to make it something that it's not. You know, clean and sterilized and predictable. That is not life, right? And the wonder and the wonder that is in every moment is here when I don't impose my ideas. When I'm just the experiencing. When I'm just the noticing, the engaging, with no attachment or expectation.